Hello, everybody. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a topic which I haven't touched upon, ironically, considering I did start off as being an IB chemistry channel, and I have done these videos for biology, but I haven't done them for chemistry, which I felt was a bit ironic. So I decided to do it finally. And the reason why I didn't do it is because chemistry is a subject which I have been on the ups and downs with. So I wasn't good at chemistry at all. I was terrible at chemistry for IB year one, which is grade 11 in where I'm from, and I'm sure in many other countries as well. I was absolutely terrible. I never scored above a five. And now I've gone from that stage to liking chemistry so much that I decided to start a channel where I help other students. And even in my final IB scores, I got a 7 in chemistry. And when I looked at the in-depth grading, the marks that I got, chemistry was the subject which I scored the highest in, as in the grade that I got out of 100, which is the in-depth breakdown of the grade. I got the highest in chemistry, which is quite a jump from where I was earlier. And this jump I would mostly attribute to me getting help and tuition from outside my school from a very, very good chemistry tutor. I've spoken about him in one of my previous videos. You can go watch that if you would like to know more. But that's why I found a bit hard to make a video about how to improve in IB chemistry, since I think that the main reason why I improved is through the tutor. But I realized that there are some things that the tutor introduced me to, other than, of course, his teaching style. He introduced me to a few resources which I found extremely helpful, and hopefully I can help you guys get better as well. Maybe you aren't as bad as me in chemistry. Well, grade 11 chemistry when I was terrible at it. Maybe you aren't as bad. So maybe these resources will give you that little edge to push you over that grade boundary that you're struggling to get past. And the first tip would be to study using the Cambridge textbook. Now, my school gave us the Oxford chemistry textbook, and I have to say that textbook was a total mess. And my chemistry tutor, who I went to outside of school, also agreed with me. However, there are some students who like that textbook as well. But in my opinion, I found the Cambridge textbook much, much more helpful than the Oxford textbook. And if you have watched my previous video where I talk about organic molecules, the table that I used as a reference in that video came from this textbook. The textbook is very helpful. They explain concepts so well, and it goes chapter by chapter. So it'll start with chapter 1, 2, 3, and it's exactly for IB chemistry. It's catered towards that. And in each chapter, they will specify after a certain point that, okay, we are starting with HL concepts now. So for SL students, you know where to stop. They give brilliant examples, and for important points that you need to know, they will highlight that in red in a box on the side, and they use images and different diagrams and tables, and it's very, very good textbook. In addition to this, they have practice questions after each lesson, so you can test yourself and see how well you're doing. They also have a full-fledged practice exam after each topic, which you can use, and I will upload the solutions to that on my Google Drive. The book itself, the Cambridge textbook, I have an ePDF version uploaded on my Google Drive link. So if you would like that, please feel free to message me and I'll give you access to it. So highly recommend you to use this textbook. I use this textbook, and after a point, I just started self-learning the material because of how good this textbook is. And I'm so glad that my tutor introduced me to it. So please use this textbook, see how it is. This is just my opinion and my perspective. Perhaps you won't find this as helpful as I have, but in my opinion, I found this very, very helpful. The next point is do lots and lots of past papers. And I'm sure you have heard this from many other YouTubers and people who make videos on IB, do past papers, do this, do that. But my belief is that past papers is not necessary for many subjects. And I've mentioned this in the previous video, subjects like biology, psychology, and maybe even English. You don't need to do past papers, right? You don't need to do past papers to score well. And that's my opinion on it, because these subjects is really more about you studying the material well, because in the paper, mostly they ask very random questions. Not all papers follow a similar structure. And by that, I mean that the type of questions they ask in papers, for example, like in biology, the type of questions they ask in biology It's not the same across every paper, right? They might ask you different essay questions using different concepts. So you can't really study for that. I just personally find that doing past papers for biology is a bit of a waste of time. However, a good place where you can make use of past papers in biology is the data responses. But that's aside from the point. In chemistry, however, past papers are absolutely crucial. You cannot do well in IB chemistry. Now, repeat, that is, you cannot do well in IB chemistry without looking at past papers, both 1 and 2. And why do I say that? Even though IB does not repeat questions in its exams, it has never repeated its questions. What does repeat is the way in which they ask the questions, right? They will ask you very frequently across different years. I have seen that even though the question changes, the concept that the question requires you to apply does not change. So what I mean by that is, supposing you are sitting in front of a IB chemistry paper 2 and you are flipping through it, and of course you will see questions from topic 5, which is thermochemistry. The most common type, and I have seen this in every IB chemistry paper, the most common type of question from IB thermochemistry will be involving you calculating enthalpy change and entropy change of a given reaction. So they will give you a reaction, they will ask you to calculate its enthalpy change using a particular section of the data booklet. Then they will ask you to calculate the enthalpy change again using a different section of the data booklet, and then they'll ask you to calculate the entropy. And that alone will be worth about 10 marks. So a lot is going on it, right? And they ask these kind of questions in every single paper. So if you can already anticipate such questions coming, you can practice for them before you go into your exam. So when you are in the exam, it's not a surprise to you. You're already expecting it and you know exactly how to go about tackling the question like a recipe, right? So that is why it is so important to go and do past paper questions, because the concepts that they ask in one paper in 1 year, there is a high chance they're going to repeat the same concepts in the next year. So it's always good to be prepared for that. And that's why I would highly recommend you to do lots of past papers, right? If you have done so many past papers, then the final exam is just going to be like a routine to you. You won't even be shocked or scared or surprised when you see a certain type of question because you're already used to it. You've done so many past papers, you know what's going to come. And that's the kind of mentality that you want to go into an exam with, because a calm mind is much better at doing a test than a frantic one. And that's just the truth, right? We have seen that. I'm sure you have all experienced that. So make sure that you do practice lots of past papers. There is this website called the IB repository, if I'm correct, which has tons of past paper questions. I can put a link to it in the description of this video, or I can actually put a link to it in my Google Drive as well. And there's another website called ExamMate, that is EXAM-MATE, ExamMate. And over there, they have questions for IB chemistry, tons and tons of them. Go check that out. It is a paid version if you want to access questions beyond 2016, but it's not a lot. I think it costs $2 or $3, which really isn't a lot, and it's for free. It's for free after that. So it's just a one-time payment, I think, and then you can go on using it for as long as you want. So do check that out. The next one, point number 3, is making notes may be a waste of time for you. Now, I did this. I made notes. I made lots of notes. Even though I had no idea what my notes meant, I still made them. And how did I make them? Well, I made them while watching MSG Chem videos. And I know a lot of people like to go to MSG Chem and revise from there. And it's a good resource. It's a good resource if you know chemistry, if you know what you have been doing in class. However, if you're like me and you have no idea what's going on in your class, you're absolutely blank, right? That was me in grade 11. So if you were anything like me, going to MSG Chem is not going to help you a lot. Trust me, because even though his videos are good, his videos are very good for those who are actually revising topics that they already know. His videos are not good for those who do not have the concepts in the first place. So if you think MSG Chem can salvage you from this, from an inability of you to do chemistry, then that's not going to help. And that's really It's not a bad thing. You shouldn't be ashamed of the fact that you can't do chemistry, right? It's maybe just the way that you were taught that didn't suit you, right? Or maybe you didn't pay attention like I did, and that's okay. That's completely fine. Everybody makes mistakes, right? But it's never too late to change your methods, and that, that lets me move on to my next point, which is, if you feel like you're lagging behind, get help. Please get help, right? Chemistry is a lot like math. It's very technical, and you cannot just get by chemistry by mugging up information. Unlike biology, where you can do that and get decent marks, in chemistry, mugging up is not going to help you at all. You will just be a mess in the exam, like I felt for majority of the exams in IB. So if you are lagging behind, get help. I didn't do this for half of IB, and I regret that decision. I wish I had made the decision of consulting a tutor earlier. But for you, it may not be too late. Even if you feel like you are too close to your IB exams or it's too late, it's not. You can still get help. You will be surprised at what just 2 weeks or 3 weeks of tuition can do to your understanding in the IB chemistry. And that happened to me. 2 weeks before my predicted grade exams, I started taking lessons with my tutor, and my grade went up significantly. My teacher was absolutely surprised. Like, she did not believe what was happening, and that could be with you if you choose to make the right decision. Get help if you feel like you're lagging behind. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed about. You just have to go and make sure that you find the right tutor for you and understand what is happening in the tutor's classes as well. So that's a bit of motivation and advice from my side. So I just want to make one more point clear, that when I say making notes may be a waste of time for you, I say may be a waste of time, right? That's conditional. For me, it was a big waste of time. I have made so many notes in chemistry and none of them helped me. It just made me more confused than I already was. Mugging up chemistry is not going to help you. You can't mug up math. Just like that, you can't mug up chemistry. It's a technical subject. You have to learn, you have to understand the concept. After I started understanding chemistry, I never made notes even once, never. I went into each exam without any notes, without memorizing anything. I just went and I did it. It was like second nature to me. So remember that. And I am, of course, always here to help you guys. If you have any questions, any concept problems, let me know. I will even give you private lessons for absolutely no cost if that helps you out. I will try to do as much of that. And I'm always here, but don't let that mislead you into thinking that you don't need a tutor, because I cannot always be there, because of course I'm going to go to university soon and I'm going to have a lot of work to do. I will do my best to help all of you out as frequently as possible, but I don't think I can do that as a full-time job, if you know what I mean. So please don't hesitate from getting external help, and it'll do you a lot of good. Trust me, it'll do you a lot of good. So that's it for this video. I hope my advice has helped you. Again, just want to reiterate, the Cambridge textbook is available on the Google Drive. I will put a link to that. I can actually give you a link to my Google Drive if you privately message me, and I'll allow you, it'll give you access to my drive. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you. Good luck with your IB chemistry. It's an amazing subject. I think I'm living proof that no subject, especially the IB chemistry subject, is bad. It's an amazing subject. I went from hating it to loving it to making this channel to help all of you. So that is the progression I have made in this, in these 2 years of my IB. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in another video with another question. Goodbye.